Salve, salve, Maestro here, and today we are back with our Russian campaign. And right now, another Turkish Egyptian war is probably coming out. I'll keep my eye on it because I wanted to make both the Ottoman Empire and Egypt my puppets, because now the Ottoman Empire is an unrecognized regional power. But I do not want to get involved in a war against the Ottoman because I'm afraid that the other great powers can take whatever they want. So I'll leave them and see if I can take something out of it. Another thing to say is that I have this slot company for a very long time because I was looking these ones that are available to establish, but they are kind of trash in my opinion. So I started looking at these ones and how I could unlock them because Russia has some pretty good unique companies. And I was interested in three of them: the new Russian company, the Lil Pop, and the Ursus. So basically, before talking about them, I need to say that I already have the United Construction conglomerate, which produces glass, tools, and steel, and also gives a construction sector throughput bonus. And with that being said, this is important because the Lil Pop company is better than New Russia. The problem is that they are gonna produce the same tools that I already have a company to do that. And actually, I think I'm overproducing tools. Yeah, exactly. I'm overproducing a lot of them. And they're also going to produce steel, which I already have a company. And its bonus, it's towards the motor industries. But since I already want to establish a later company focus on the motor industry, I see no reason why establishing it over the new Russian, even though the goods from the Lil Pop are better than the new Russian. So with that being said, I will establish the new Russia company, and for it I will need some steel mill, coal mines, or iron mines in this place here, and research the Bezimer process. And Prussia is trying to make another play into Austria to the German leadership. Of course, I'm gonna side with Austria because Prussia has the advantage, the military advantage, at least by the numbers. And I just don't want a German to form because a united German is only a threat to me. And with that, the last free state here on Central Asia was conquered. And now, when the great game journal entry comes out, if it comes out, because I don't understand how it didn't trigger already. Maybe it's because I have great relations with Great Britain. But if it triggers, I already have control of all over this area. Oh, shot, man. I was thinking it was strange that the great game didn't trigger it already, and I went up to some Reddits and some dev diaries to see if I was doing something wrong. And then I just noticed that the great game isn't a normal journal entry, it's just a mode inside Wiki Free. So when you start Wiki Free, there are five modes. It is like build up economy, military power, egalitarian society, something like that. And among those five, if I'm not mistaken, it's five, there is the great game gameplay mode. So no shot, man. I was thinking that this would trigger in the middle of the campaign. I'm very sad that I didn't have the content for it because it would have a lot of things to do, some events, some flavorful things about this region. I'm very sad, man. Like it should be on the base game and have a mode where you can focus more or have like a tutorial for it. Very shitty decision. Yeah, we couldn't make it in the first time, but at least in the second time, we managed to pass universal suffrage. But with the research of nationalism, I unlocked this journal entry here, the ruler of the East, which gave me some claims over the Chinese provinces. And I could sign these treaties, but I'm very lazy to understand them all. So, since they are gonna give me some infamy, I would just attack Great Qing, right? Yeah, so this war took much more than I expected. Much, much more. Sadly, I lost a lot of manpower and time, but we still managed to win. And seriously, this war take away my my willingness to make war. So probably I would just make some wars on the Ottoman Empire in the Egypt, and that's it. No more wars. So I just noticed this. Why Scandinavia took my lands? Finland here was a personal union, and then I reduced them to puppet status. But how could they take the land without declaring war on me? Like, how does this make sense? And now we passed mass conscription. Seriously, I only passed it because of the Great Reformer General Entry, because normally I would go for professional army. But okay, it doesn't change it a lot. And now with the Great Reformer, what we receive, it's loyalty and popularity. Seriously, it's justice. Okay then. Now, how is not the gentry assembly marginalized because they only got 1.8% of clout? Like, let me see how the Orthodox Church is going, and they zero. I think I've never saw a zero before, like literally. Yeah, I kind of destroyed it. Oh, it makes sense. Probably is scripted. It doesn't show here, but probably if the country is atheist, it's hard to code it for it to drop to zero. Okay, so actually the great game is a journal entry, but you just don't claim to be the great game journal entry until the last time. So finally, after controlling all of this area here, I managed to have it, and now I just receive this like trade route competitiveness, influence, and whatever. So yeah, I said that I wouldn't do it, but I just decided to make a protectorate out of Egypt. I just hope that the English doesn't get here and start a war to return claim. But something that I also want to do right now is to dismantle the Austrian Empire because this would be cool, but I need to improve my military because I'm stronger than them, but still it's not that strong. So, and since I want some quick wars, I don't want to have some headaches on it. I would need to improve my army and my unity. And the United States decided they wanted to take Alaska instead of just buying it. They got 87 battalions while we have almost half a thousand. And they said, okay, let's fight the Russians. We can, right? Yeah, so the United States probably knew about something, and now we are heading to a world war. And the sad part is that I demobilized my army. I forcibly demobilized them because I was having this revolt here, and I didn't want it to waste with upkeep. And now I need to wait some 2 months in order to mobilize them again. And you know what? Before going for Council Republic, I will actually move to Parliamentary Republic. I don't need the monarchy anymore, so probably I'll just move to Parliamentary and then will compulsory primary school. The bad part about fighting the British is not even the chance to lose the war, but that they are gonna destroy your economy. Because even if you have a bigger marine than them, the AI is just madness and they do all the calculations and stuff that the human being is just too boring to do. Okay, so this is very strange because we're talking about a political group that have 2.5 of clout and one that's marginalized with 0% of clout and a royalist movement that just don't exist. Like, how is this going up to 94%? And now I'm probably cooked because all my subjects hate me because they don't have access to my market due to the British. And the British, oh, they want to piss out. The last time I checked, it was -5. Okay, finally, the end of this dumb war. And we're probably going to have this revolution. So, something very strange that happened is that the trade union got marginalized. You can clearly see here. They used to have 21% of clout and they dropped it for 3%, I guess. Even with universal suffrage, which should give them some power, but this is due to how the system works, the election system with these laws works, is that probably the trade unions didn't enter in any of those parties. And in universal suffrage, you got a lot of political strength because of votes. So I'm now trying to increase the power of the trade unions through events Like Russia has some special event for that in order to see if in the next election that will be in a year, they manage to get into a party and come back to the political spectrum. And also the Paris Commune didn't trigger, at least it hasn't spawned yet, but I would like to support them just for role-playing reasons. Kind of sad because this is the first role-playing run that I ever did in Victoria Free, and things are going on the opposite ways. Like the stuff that I wanted to play role-playing is just not happening. And as I said, the trade unions managed to enter the Menshevik party and now they increased it by 10%. It's kind of low yet. The petit bourgeoisie earned a lot of the votes. It needs to update this chart here. But still, now we have a powerful trade union, and probably it's gonna keep like that. And in no time, we're gonna go for Council Republic and cooperative ownership. Yeah, I think Paradox buffed the German AI because they are actually pretty strong right now. Like they managed to defeat the French, and they are not holding us, of course, but they managed to form the North German Federation. Of course, this wouldn't be possible without the Great Britain support, but even then. But although that, in the next war, because probably there gonna be a next war, I'm preparing some stuff for them, like a little surprise here. And I'm pretty confident that I'm ahead of time in military technology. Like, they still have some skirmish infantry, and we are talking about the British, so they should be the top country in the world. Even the Germans they still have skirmish infantry. So, in the next war, I'm gonna probably have unlocked the chemical warfare, stormtroopers, or flamethrowers, and it will be a massacre. And also, I forgot to say that another election happened, and the rural folk are signed with the trade union and the petit bourgeoisie, so they are by far the most powerful party right now. But the petit bourgeoisie, like, they get all of the clout from the election. So I started the campaign hoping to form a socialist society, and probably I might end up in a fascist one. And the North German Federation capitulated, and I think I've never saw it before. Like we have the North German Federation and Prussia at the same time, so we just need to piece out the British right now. And hopefully, oh, this will end up with a humiliation over the French Republic for sure. So, what happened if I am a atheist society, but with a theocracy government? Like, how would this happen? The leadership of the science community will be the king, or how this can work? So now that I passed the workers' protection, I'm trying to max this institution out because most of the times you're gonna want these minus dangerous working conditions to increase your population because most of the times you lack the population. And that's why you use automation PMs or give women's right. But in this case, we are not in need of more population. But I'm doing that to increase the minimum wage. And by increasing the minimum wage, I'm expecting to increase the trade union power from wealth, which of course are going to turn them more powerful and later able to pass Council Republic. And you understand what I'm going for. Strange because I thought they already added the option to declare war using my subject claims, but I can't take this province here from Ottoman Empire and give it to Egypt. So another thing to change, and they already published the military death diary, and this wasn't there. So it's still very concerning. Some base features that don't even hurt the performance are still lacking in the game. And as I said earlier, I started this campaign hoping for a socialist society, but I'm ending up with a fascist one. Like, look how huge they are powerful right now. Probably I gave a lot of power to the military men when I passed mass conscription. And also, I'm having a little war against Austria because the Greeks had a revolution, and for some reason Austria sided with them and thought they could beat us. But as I said, now that we have chemical weapons, no one can beat us. Like, just look at this offense against this defense, the amount of troops that's killed compared to each other. Like, They even have more men in this battle and still are getting beaten up. So a very interesting journal entry popular here, the Babrin epidemic. Like I've never seen this very cool feature that it would be cool for them to add some future DLC focused on healthcare and modern sewage. Like from this period, medicine improved a ton. And as I said with the Brazilian run, there were some vaccines and diseases. A lot of tropical diseases were being researched on their treatments and how to cure them. And this could also influence the colonization of Africa. So, very cool feature right here. Although we are doing a lot of imperialism here, we can't say that their lives hadn't improved because of like, we see a lot here. They now have proportional taxation, homesteading, universal suffrage. Like some of them even have regulatory bodies like Cindy. And I'm doing all of this legislation changing my subject because, well, I will still try to form the USSR. And after I form it, I will make a ideological union power bloc. And since its cohesion depends on how much similar are the legislations within the power bloc, I'm already reforming my subject in order to increase the power of the trade union, let's say, and make it easier to pass those more socialist reforms on them. And some very serious conflicts are going on here. Like we have Great Britain on a side against basically France and Qing. And actually, the British are fearful. Like, I'm very confident that they can fairly win this war. It is strange to see them being fearful. And as strange as it might seem, the British have actually backed down. Like, for what reason they gave it up? Like, this area will be useless for them right now. What's happening at their country? Oh, okay. That makes sense. They're having a superb British fascist rebellion. That's basically all of their country. Okay. Even the British are now going fascist. So I'm thinking about going for graduated taxation because it has a fairly good chance of passing and won't make anyone mad. Just the petit bourgeoisie, we're gonna actually lose some benefits, which are some bureaucracy. We have a lot of bureaucracy still, but this is due to remove some taxation of the poor and increase the taxation of the rich because I want to see if I can boost up the clout of the trade unions in exchange of removing some power from industrialists or the petit bourgeoisie itself. So in Peru, you actually have some syndicates working for you. You have wage subsidies, but you still can be a slave. Hmm. Very interesting, very particular set of view. So during this enactment, we have the opportunity to kill the leader of the trade unions, which is interesting because I have two agitators that support communism, but I can't put them on the leadership. This one because the acceptance, and she because I don't have such progressive laws. I wonder if by killing this guy, I will be able to put one of them in power, which would be very great. Yeah, that doesn't happen, but at least it's a social democrat instead of a moderate. So there are a lot of late games buildings that you need to plan very well when building it, like power plants, you always need to build synchronize it with some production method that uses electricity and this type of thing. But right now, I'm building this electric industry in order to produce telephones because I'm lacking the bureaucracy, and I already can improve the production method of my administration buildings right now. But just for the pop consumption, I'm already lacking the total goods that I need. So very crazy to see that. It's a very profitable industry. So I'm still lacking the telephones, but I will start to switch because it's getting to a unsustainable point. I don't know if I'm happy or sad because we managed to pass graduated taxation. I think that the trade union will increase their clout, but now I'm getting even less tax than before. So we're getting to a very complicated financial situation. Damn, Colombia. Like, we're in 1907 and your troops have 10 of advance. Seriously? 10? Only 10? So the two Sicilies offered us a defensive pact. So I started to think about adding the Italy peninsula into our power block. And then I thought like, imagine if we managed to grab the papal states and then turn them into communists, like would be a little crazy, right? It's like some people would say that they actually were up until some days ago, but I am not one of those people. So just wondering here. And as I said, I already can start to see a little boost in the cloud of the trade union because of the new taxation legislation, while the petit bourgeoisie is starting to lose a little bit, probably because of this wealth modifier here. So finally, after all this time and still with all this population, I'm already starting to struggle with workforce in some places. Right now, we have only almost 60,000 unemployed people, let's say, because we tend to consider peasants as unemployed. And I'm lacking population to work in this railway. So I will start to use the green PMs for the first time. Since I knew that Russia had a ton of population, I didn't even bother seeing if I could switch it or not. And just by switching this Steam Donkey, we turn it into the most productive gold mine in the world. This game is kidding with me. Like, the trade union managed to be the most powerful, and I was expecting them to merge with the rural folk, but they actually merged with the armed forces, and the petit bourgeoisie merged it with the rural folk. So I was expecting a huge win for the trade union, but now probably we're gonna only keep the political scenario as it is right now. So now we started to receive the unique Russian event, and right now Trotsky appeared into here. But he is from the military. I didn't expect it, and we still can't put him on power because we don't have a 60 acceptance of his culture because he is Ashkenazi. I don't know how to pronounce it, which is sad, but I will let him be here and try to make it out with him. Well, of course, the petit bourgeoisie is strong. Like all the time that I wanted to recruit in general, there is at least two generals from the petit bourgeoisie. So of course they're gonna have some power. Just look at this, man. The amount of traits that they have because of the leader or the general. So at this moment, I'm just so desperate that I'm starting to think about taxing the rich in the goods that they produce in order to try to see if they can lose some of their political power. So it seems like not even the fascists like the fascists. So we are having a fascist revolution on top of a government that used to be another fascist revolution. So I just finished researching mass propaganda, and I did that in time for the next election that will come out in something like 8 months. And I did that because it unlocks the fascist party. So what I'm gonna try to do is see if the petit bourgeoisie moved to that fascist party, and since the political affiliation of the rural folk is too different from the fascist party, at least I hope it is, they're not going to move with the petit bourgeoisie and probably will merge with the trade union or something like it. And with that, taking away some, and I hope a lot of the votes, and as such, the clout of the petit bourgeoisie. So I am a little bit surprised because it all happened exactly as I said. So the petit bourgeoisie moved to this all Russian fascist party. The armed forces, for some reason, joined the agrarian party, while the rural folk left the agrarian party to take part with the trade unions and the Menshevik party. So if we see the election right now, the Menshevik party exploded in popularity and are projected to have 80% of the votes, while the agrarian, that's only the military, will drop a ton, and the all fascist is somewhere here, like a little bit more than the agrarian, but still only 12%. So finally, I managed to take away the power from the petit bourgeoisie. this was so delayed. Like I thought that by that time I would already had converted all of my subjects to socialist, but whatever, man. Okay, so we can't celebrate until the election is over because I was looking here and the rural folk have a radical at the leadership, which strongly oppose Council Republic. And the only agitator that I have from the rural folk is also radical. There are actually some agitators from the rural folk that would be useful. So everyone that doesn't oppose Council Republic like this guy, or there are even people that support. Let's see here. This guy support. No, it's this guy. He is a communist. He would support, and this would be beautiful. But the matter is from the culture of Boer, which has just +60 of acceptance in the Russian society, and this is happening all of the time. Like if I select any guy here, like this guy which is Brazilian, he has 60. This guy which is Serbian has 60. Like even Serbians have only six acceptance in the Russian society right now. And this is not even because I have atheism, because this acceptance is only based on the citizenship law. So basically, as Russia, if I don't have multiculturalism, I only can invite to my country people that are either Russian, Ukrainian, or Belarusian, and that's it. So I was just trying to increase the demand over electricity in my country, and I moved all my arts academy to film art. And then this event popped up, and it increased the pop attraction to trade unions and rural folk, which is very in hand at this time. So very nice. Man, like due to the revolutions, probably Japan dropped it down to unrecognized regional power right now. So if I go here, I can make a protectorate out of them for 30 implement. But you know who thought that earlier? India is attacking Japan to make a protectorate, like in 1913. Okay, so the election happened, and we now have 40% of cloud to the trade union. It's still not enough, I think, because the rural folk are still very powerful. The petit bourgeoisie is very powerful, but at least is one step closer, I think. Let me see here if we already can. Yeah, exactly. Like if I go Council Republic, people are gonna be mad at me, like crazy mad. I can try, but it's complicated. So I was looking here to see if I had any chance of inviting someone. And yeah, actually the religion is cooking me right now. Like because since the 19s, the 90, I'm just not able to invite anyone to my country. And here he says why. It's because I have atheism as a law. So I'm trying to do something to make it easier and quicker for me in the future. Actually ended up cooking me. We had a lot of bets in this run. So maybe there wasn't a better way to do that if not like this. So we did it. We managed to pass Council Republic even with 70% of stall or more. Finally, dear God. Let me update here. Oh, look how beautiful this is. And passing Council Republic was hard, but the last part, which is cooperative ownership, is actually very, very easy. So I think that probably a lot of people, if not most of people, would go command economy in order to do the USSR. But first, command economy is just bad. And second, if you think about the Marxism theory and whatever, technically speaking, if the workers own the means of production, then a cooperative ownership would make much more sense than a powerful state owning all the industries, all the farms, and everything basically. So I'll go cooperative ownership because actually it makes more sense if we are trying to create a socialist society. So I think I'm gonna go for a single final war in order to, well, of course, carry the revolution to the workers of Kafta. And not because they produce rubber. That's just a coincidence. But fairly speaking, the capital workers actually need some revolution. Like, just look at this legislation here, even with slave trade. And this war here, this endless war, probably is gonna to end in a capitulation, because this was the war here, the North German revolt against the North German Federation. And I entered to support them because they were promising to become my subject, and they actually became. The problem is that I can't invade the capital area of the North German Federation because we still are not on 1.9 and we don't have the land invasion. So basically, they are taking down for some reason that I don't know, but still, probably we're gonna lose this. So I was checking here the offense and defense, and of course, we have a very good offense. It could be better, but I am not focused on it. But then I checked Ethiopia defense, and they literally have 11 of defense against 103. And now we have our cooperative ownership. Very nice. So basically, we finished our legislation over the USSR. I was actually wanting to go for a single party state, but maybe this won't be possible. I'll check it later. But this is not mandatory, of course. And now that we have all of the legislation we wanted, we have a final challenge, which is dismantle my power block. So I'll try to form another power block with a ideological union and see if I can change the legislation of all of my subjects. This is gonna be very hard because the system here to change the laws on subjects, it's okay, but it's still very hard because you depends a lot on the internal situation in order to change law. Maybe with the ideological union power block, this is gonna change a little bit because I've never played with one. So I will just try to do it, and probably I will only come back if I manage to do something or to finish the video. So I was checking here, and it seems that it takes 5 years in order to force regime change. So I need to wait until Persia is on my ideological union for 5 years. And 5 years at this game speed would be something more or less about 7 months in real life. So I'm not very willing to do it, right? And 5 years, I'm gonna be what? 13 years until the end date of game. And still, like, the force regime change only increase the enactment chance as it seems. And like I can't use a CB about regime change. So it will be very fucking hard to do that. And I have a lot of subjects to do it, so probably I'll just leave it right there. And as such, I think I'm gonna end the Russian campaign right here. I think I compressed it more than I should because the Brazilian run was 5 episodes, and this I'm gonna be completing two. So maybe will find a balance in 3 episodes. And as usual, I'm gonna show you the data and the final stats of the game. So before showing the stats, just to say something interesting that I saw during the recording of the stats is that since France did a very poor job, Germany didn't perform, and Great Britain had a lot of revolutions, lost India and everything else, there are going to be a lot of interesting stats that the Soviet Union and the United States are very like head to head. Like we are in another level, of course, but still the United States is number two. So important stats like GDP or military size with these very similar to what actually happened in real life. And the final thought here, and yes, I loaded a older save to check something, but I wanted to make this final clip that the ones who play Victoria Free since the beginning will remember that it was fairly easy to achieve 1 billion GDP, but then they make it much more harder because of performance issues. So just to point out how overpowered is Russia if you manage to make a very strong early game. And I say that because Overall, I'm not a player that play the most optimal way. I know that for sure. Like there are people that run millions and millions on deficit because they know how to deal. I just like to not bother with that. But especially in the late mid game to the late game, I literally doesn't care a lot. I just check how green is the number and voila. So even playing in a not very, very optimal way, I managed to almost hit 900 million GDP as the Russians. And if I played it in the more optimal way, like without decreasing the speed of the economy, because like I haven't built a single construction sector since, I don't know, 1870, because it was not anymore a necessary thing and it would only delay even more my game. So even then, I managed to have almost 900 million. So if I play it in a more optimal way, it would probably be like 1.3 billion, 1.5 billion of GDP. So if you don't want to see the stats, I hope you like the episode. Comment, like, and subscribe. And for those that want to see the stats, here we go.